What's up to Lion Talk Live? So we love you too, buddy.
What's going on, guys? It is Aiden Hutchinson.
What's up, man? It's your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown.
What's going on, Coach Dan at Lions Talk Live and the Duke Crew? This is Ball Hawk, Fatima of the Detroit Lions. Everybody make sure you help support the YouTube channel Lions Talk Live by clicking that like and subscribe button. Let's get it and go Detroit.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Skipper, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live and Coach Dan by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody, woo!
Well, woo! Greetings and salutations, everybody out there in YouTube land. I am your host once again, Dan Thornton. And I want to thank you all for tuning in today to Lions Talk Live, morning show edition. Hey, it's Monday morning. It's the holiday. And yes, you are less than 1 week away from the start of our Detroit Lions NFL season. I think everybody's going to say this. At this point next week, we're all expecting to have good news, a good Monday morning to talk about, break down what happened the night before. But I also know this, you never know, just know in the NFL. Later today or tomorrow morning, could be one or the other, we are going to have the full prediction for the season video, break everything on down, and have a special guest, Dan O'Damas, there to lead us through all of his updated procrastinations, talking about the future of this franchise going into the season. So look out for that. Real quick, before we get into today's show and breakdown of this first game of the season, the breakdown between the LA Rams and Detroit Lions, a couple real quick things. If you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, why the heck not? Go ahead and hit that subscription button. We are less than 15 subscribers away from hitting 7,700. Hoping to do that, obviously, sooner versus later, so if you can help out, that'd be great. If you enjoy the video, the content within this video, or the channel just as a whole, consider hitting that thumbs up button and the like button. We try to get each video between 200 to 300 or more thumbs up or likes. And as you guys probably know, if you've watched YouTube for a while, that helps out exponentially. Last but not least, outside of being a YouTuber and a coach, I am also a realtor. So if you're considering buying or selling property anywhere in the great state of Michigan, you see my number on the screen, 269-998-2384. Go ahead and give me a call, shoot me a text, whatever you need to do. Go ahead, reach out to me. Let's have a quick conversation on what I can do to save you some money, make the process a whole lot easier of buying or selling property. And, hey, we'll see if we can save you some cash and go from there. All right, with all the formalities out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the first segment of the show, and that's going to be 5 Headlines Now. All right, 5 headlines now. Let's get this going. Let's get the show underway. Detroit Lions general manager explains why all quarterbacks should throw at the NFL scouting combine. This is from DraftWire Jeff Risdon. So, as you guys know, the Lions, among other teams, sometimes go out at the scouting combine to review potential drafted players. There has been a growing trend amongst quarterbacks to not throw. They want to have a controlled environment, them and their agents, to do something inside their own college or universities in controlled environment where they can make the player look as good as possible, try to make sure they live up to all their strengths and not really expose any weaknesses. I get the job of an agent is try to do what's best for your client. I also get what Brad Holmes is saying in this particular article about, hey, he thinks it's a good idea to go ahead and take part in the NFL scouting combine to do also a solid for your player, because you don't want to go to a bad situation and have unrealistic expectations for anybody who's drafted. All right, next one is why I'm picking the Detroit Lions to make it to Super Bowl 59, but not win it. This is from the Detroit News. So they break down a lot of things with this team, the Detroit Lions, and try to talk about the strengths, the weaknesses, a couple areas they really think the Lions are going to shine, but also how the Lions season will get them to their first ever Super Bowl. But who they have going up against Detroit might just be a little bit more than what Detroit can handle in that particular game. We'll have to wait and see if that shakes out. And no, I'm not going to reveal Dan O'Damas' predictions for the Super Bowl until tomorrow, well, the episode that he's on. All right, potential worries about the 2024 Detroit Lions. We got the safety spot, USA Today, story by Jeff Risdon. Risdon on fire here, talking about another aspect of the Detroit Lions. He does think that the safety room could potentially, doesn't say it is, but potentially could be one of the weak spots for the team. He does mention Brian Branch's switch to being a safety full-time. That's a real strength, but he does talk about Kirby Joseph, Ife Melifanu, and some of the depth there and how maybe there are still question marks that need to be answered in regards to both gentlemen backing up or playing next to Brian Branch. All right, fantasy football. Here, where to draft Detroit Lions quarterback Jared Goff. This is from Sportsbook, story by Drew Phelps. Drew Phelps is not somebody I'm familiar with, and anybody who's watched the show for any length of time understands I don't know anything about really fantasy football. So I know that you have to score points, and that's about it. I know you have to change lineups on a weekly basis, or at least that's recommended. So if you are a fantasy football person, which I'm guessing most of you are, you may want to check this out. I know Jared Goff is, in my humble opinion, is going to have a pretty good season, put up some pretty good numbers. So fantasy-wise, that could be a person of interest to you. All right, open thread. What are you most excited about for the 2024 Lions? This is from SB Nation. It's their story by Jeremy Reisman. So, man, Reisman, we got a lot of different Jeffs and Jeremys in here. So what we can say is, hey, I think nationwide, and you don't have to just be print media or Fox Sports, ESPN, there is a real expectations for the Detroit Lions to be one of the better teams in the NFL this year. Risman goes through this, talks about it at length, talks about what his thoughts are. And let's face it, this week, the week leading up into the start of the NFL season, which for the not Lions, Thursday night is only a couple days away. Then you got Friday, and then, yes, obviously next Sunday. So you're going to have a lot of stuff hitting the media in one format or another this week to start hyping up things, because it is here. The start of the NFL season is just 72 hours or whatever it is away. So, all right, with all that out of the way, don't really have any NFC North news or notes, so let's go ahead and get into the main topic of the day. All right, main topic of the day. Let's get that, music going. Hank Williams, hey, are you ready for some football? Get that playing in your head, and let's dive into it. We're going to start breaking down this weekend's matchup, and let's get it going. Let's be honest, this is Goff versus Stafford, round 3, winner takes all. Somebody's going to have a lot more bragging rights than the other guy, and where once the first matchup, once Stafford was traded, I think Stafford and the LA Rams knew they were just simply the better team. Even though, if you remember, it was in LA and the Lions actually made a pretty good game of it. That was anticipated. The gambling man Campbell really had the Lions going for it on fake punts, fake field goals. I mean, there were a lot of trickeration plays that kept the Lions in play until really about halfway through the fourth quarter. At that point, Stafford and the Rams, who went on to win the Super Bowl that year, did eventually put away MC, and the boys. Goff, we all get the story. He felt jilted, felt left out. But the question is now, who's the better quarterback between the two? Who gives their team the bigger edge in this weekend's matchup? We're going to start right there and break it down. In my humble opinion, there's not much difference between the two. Never has been. I've gone on record saying this before. I've been yelled at by some people. Some people talk bad about my mama. Had to go after them. But the difference between Jared Goff and Matt Stafford to me is, it's really fine lines. There are some physical differences. Stafford's arm, it's a howitzer. It's a cannon. That thing can launch a ball everywhere. Just look at Megatron's hands, Golden Tate's hands. A lot of people who played with them, you could see how that's affected their fingers, especially because Stafford has one of the most powerful arms in the NFL, always has. Goff does not have that level of arm, but they both produce very similar results. So for me, and not a cop-out here, I think it's basically a push between these two guys. If you put Goff in L.A. or in Stafford back here, I don't really think it affects the game one way or the other. What I will say is some of the other things on both teams are going to lead into potentially how each quarterback are going to be affected. So let's move out of that. All right, which team has the better running back room? Here I'm going to go with Detroit all day. It's not that Williams in L.A. isn't good or anything. I just think it's him, and then there's a bunch of other guys. I also think since he's going to be involved in special teams and other aspects of the game, I do believe the Lions are going to be able to shut him down significantly. It doesn't mean he won't have some good runs. It doesn't mean he won't put up some numbers. But I think his effectiveness overall throughout the game is going to be diminished because of Detroit's defense. Conversely, the other side of that, I think Detroit's running back room, and it's not just one or two guys, it's 3 or 4 guys, are going to cause the Rams a lot of problems. I do believe we will see matchups where Gibbs is motioned out. If Ben Johnson identifies on a play or Goff identifies on a play that a linebacker, they're in man coverage, a linebacker has been assessed or assigned to Gibbs, he's going to be either motioned out to the slot or just run a wheel route out of the backfield or into the flats. And yes, that's going to cause LA a lot of problems. They're going to cause LA to shift defenses more often than not, in my opinion, which favors Detroit, favors the passing game and the running game. David Montgomery should not be forgotten about by Lions fans. I think he will pound the linebacking core for the Rams significantly. And let's not forget, they just traded their star linebacker, so you're going to have new people in new roles there. All right, is there an advantage for anyone at wideout? And I'll be also fair, sort of like I said with the quarterback room, I don't think there's a real huge advantage for one team or the other. Both teams have very good, talented wide receivers. Yes, we all know about Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp. They both should be healthy, and you've got some other guys that aren't too bad in LA. I think a lot of their success or lack of success is going to come down to how quickly you can get to Stafford and how well this new secondary holds up. If Detroit is good in both aspects, getting to the quarterback and holding up in the secondary, keeping especially that man-to-man coverage all over them, it could be a long day for the receiving core for LA. Conversely, LA's got some pretty good corners. Why I don't think they have as much depth in corners as Detroit. I do think Detroit Lions wideouts are going to have a real good day. The LA defense is going through a lot of changes, especially up front in their ability to rush the quarterback. Remember last year, how did the Detroit Lions in the playoff game take care of Aaron Donald? They often doubled and even sometimes triple teamed Aaron Donald on passing plays to make sure he was a non-factor. But you don't have to worry about him anymore, which frees up a lot of blocking assignments for other guys. So let's dive into keep diving through different positional groups. All right, does LA keep up with Detroit in the tight end room? And the answer to me is no. It's not even close. Sam is going to be fine. Laporta is going to put up big numbers. And he's not the only guy, but he's the main weapon, as we all know, for the Detroit Lions tight end room. I think he's another matchup problem for the LA Rams. Conversely, with the Rams, their tight end room, they have some nice players, but I don't think there's any star players. I don't think there's anything that's going to make Aaron Glenn shake and bake and stay up at night trying to Scooby-Doo how to stop this guy or that guy. So that's going to open up a lot of opportunities, I believe, for Detroit to get after Stafford even more. All right, offensive line edge goes to sort of like the tight end room. It wasn't close in comparing both teams and trying to be as realistic and as fair to both teams. Detroit has a massive advantage to me at the tight end position. They have an even bigger advantage in the offensive line position. Most of you probably checking up and getting ready for this weekend's game are aware the LA Rams they're in a bad strait. Their starting left tackle is suspended the game. Jonah Jackson, while he's back into practicing, I don't think he's 100% yet with that arm. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he is. But now they're potentially going to have to play him out of position to try to help out with other spots. Anytime you got that much shifting going on an offensive line and an offensive line that wasn't great to begin with, I think this is a real recipe to help Detroit out at a loud home field advantage. The fans are going to be pumped. I mean, heck, just look at the last preseason game, how pumped they were. Now imagine Sunday night, people have been sitting around watching football all day, perhaps having a Mountain Dew or two before the game, getting ready to go. Yes, it is going to be a loud crowd, and if Detroit gets out to any sort of significant lead early in the game, you open up the floodgates even more for that crowd to get nasty. In the third quarter, fourth quarter, if this game really starts getting away from LA, now you open up the even more blitz packages, James Houston packages, and yes, Stafford could be in trouble. So to me, again, sort of like the tight end room I didn't think was close. It favors Detroit. The Detroit Lions on the offensive line, I think, are just a massive, massive advantage here. All right, defensive line rankings favor. I'll say this, sort of like other aspects of the team, I think it does overall favor Detroit, but not as much as, say, the offensive line. Both teams have some stars out there. Both teams can get to the quarterback and shut down the run. If I had to put a scale on this, I'm going to say Detroit has a 9-7 advantage because I think we stopped the run very, very well, especially if Reader is indeed able to go and play any kind of significant moments or snap counts. Kyle Pico, I think if Reader doesn't go or can't go full time, Pico is going to fill that role real nice and clog up a lot of lanes, also freeing up the linebackers to come downhill, fill the lanes, gaps, etc., stopping the LA rushing attack. And if you can make LA one-dimensional, that's where I think this Lions defense could be really at a huge advantage. So again, I'm going to say it's an advantage for Detroit. It's just not a massive advantage. All right, whose linebackers stand out more? I would have said LA prior to the trade, but now that they have traded their star linebacker, I think it's fairly close to even. I'll go maybe a slight advantage for the Detroit Lions, but not a huge one by any stretch of the imagination. Like yesterday's video when I broke down the NFC North, I think Detroit has some really good linebackers. I just don't think there's anybody great. Jack Campbell, I think, has the opportunity this year to maybe kind of push up towards that great level, but he's not there yet. He's got to go out there and prove it, and so until he does, I'm not going to rank him in that manner. All right, moving on to the cornerback room, I'm going to say this. I think LA has two superior, currently, right now, until proven otherwise, corners to Detroit. And not a massive advantage, but a bit of advantage. Detroit, though, when it comes to depth, player 1 through 6 has a massive advantage, in my opinion, over LA. So I think LA has two better overall cornerbacks, but like I said, the depth is not as pronounced. So I'm going to say overall, it really depends on how you want to grade this thing. If you want to grade it as the entire room, Detroit's got the advantage. If you want to just grade it on the top two corners, then I'm going to say LA has the advantage. But you know what? I think both teams are going to have to use probably 3, 4, maybe even 5 corners throughout half of the game. All right, safety depth strengths goes to Detroit Lions, and this is because of Brian Branch. Brian Branch, to me, when I did my ratings, if you guys watched that episode yesterday, he is an elite level player. Probably didn't get the recognition he really deserved last year as a rookie, and that's too bad because when you look at his total body of work as a blitzing slot guy, as a slot corner, as an outside corner, as a safety, as a weak side linebacker, sandbacker, or whatever, he was, especially the longer the season went, he was a playmaker. There's no other way to put it. And now that he can focus on just one detail of the team, even though I do believe they're going to move him around, I think year 2, you're going to see a noticeable jump, and he's going to be in the conversation for, say, the top 5 safeties, top 8 safeties in the NFL. He's got rare ability, and I think they're going to play him in multiple different packages to take advantage of those abilities. Outside of that, I would say it's fairly close to even, but there's no denying Brian Branch, in my opinion, moves the Detroit Lions safety position into a rare air and gives them a huge advantage over LA. All right, so all this culminated. What do we make of it? What do we take of it? I'm going to say this. Some of you guys probably remember a few months ago I gave some predictions based on before we even had rookie OTAs, and doing my final review, I just don't think it's going to change that much the final score, but the big reveal is here. Do the drum roll if you would, please. Final score, Detroit 42, LA not enough, 24. So I think it is going to be close to about halfway through the second quarter. At that point, I do think Detroit's taken a bit of a lead in my anticipation, and LA right before halftime is trying to cut into that lead a little bit. Probably a key error happens, maybe a pick 6, and at that point the floodgates are open in the third quarter. Detroit Lions really get after Stafford. I do think if that LA line doesn't hold up well and this game starts getting away, as much pressure as I think they're going to throw at Stafford, force him to scramble, force him to take hits, maybe even draw some flags, I do think they might pull him by the fourth quarter, at least somewhere in there. If this game really does live up to this prediction, then yeah, get him out of there, keep him safe, because their offensive line could be an Achilles heels for him. If that running game can't get established early and often and maintain through the first half, then LA becomes very one-dimensional, especially if Detroit's offense keeps pouring it on. So there's my thoughts. Let's go ahead and get over to the comments section and see what you guys in the Duke crew have to say. I can see there are more than 2 comments over there. So, hey, look, it's going to take a moment for me to scroll to the top. There was over 170 comments. So, yes, let's get over to it and see what you guys have to say on things. All right, Michael D. Greetings, salutations, coach and Duke crew! Exclamation points. Super Bowl or bust, one pride. Woo, woo. Good morning to you, too. Michael, can't wait to see our defense play. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I think that's probably one of the things I'm most excited about is, do we really have Blitzburg? Do we really have the Silver Rush? I want to see all the different packages they throw out there. I think you're going to see some trickeration. We always talk about that with the offense. Hey, trick plays here and there, but you can run them on defense too. You can catch people napping. And sort of like last year, if you remember the Denver game where we had iffy blitzing, and getting to Russell Wilson, and just hitting him from behind, causing a fumble. They got him a couple times with that, and I think you'll see some gimmicks like that, especially early in the year when people don't have film on you. There's a higher probability of getting away with trick plays. All right, Dennis, good morning, Dan and the Duke Crew. Back at you, my friend. Bo, good morning, Duke Crew. Labors away starts Sunday. I see Super Bowl. Woo! Let's get that going. And yes, the road to the Super Bowl begins that next week. Or next Sunday, excuse me. JDC, good morning, all. Back at you. Hopefully it is an outstanding morning, JDC. See, Jason, 33-17, Lions, Superdome or bust. I'll go with that. Hey, a win's a win. I don't care if it's 1 point or 100 points. Just get that win. See, Matthew, greetings, salutations. Good morning, everyone. Hold on. Screen just moved on me. Superdome, Super Bowl. Woo, woo, woo. Sheila likes a woo in the morning. Fresh morning dew. There we go. So you asked for it. I'll give it to you. A little Sheila. I guess I could say, oh, Sheila, right? 80s song there. All right, John, good morning. All back at you. John, thunder and lightning. Who doesn't like a little thunder and lightning in the morning? So, Jason, Dan O'Damas predicted a 42-21 victory a few months back for the season opener. And you know what? I'm just playing off his words. I'm going to stick to that prediction as of for now. But you know what? When we have the official Dan O'Damas prediction video today or tomorrow, we'll see if that all holds true. All right, Stephanie, good morning, boys. Exclamation point. Working today and thinking it will be an easy one. Hoping this first game of the year will be the same for us. You know, if it's anywhere near that prediction I just gave and Dan O'Damas had months ago, perhaps there will be a correlation from your easy work day to what the Lions do Sunday Night Football. Clark, good morning, Duke Crew. Exclamation point. I'm so pumped for this game and the year to get underway. Let's do this. 100%, my friend, 100%. Both score and stop in the third quarter is important. Score and stop in the third quarter is important. Keep the pedal to the metal. 100% agree with that. You get an opportunity to bury an opponent, you do just that. Throughout all my coaching career, I've always enforced with whatever level you play at, you get an opportunity to put somebody into the ground. You do it. You do not keep them around. See, John, it will be Stephanie. I'm going to hold you to that, John. See, Big Eddie, greetings, salutations all. I think we're going to knock Stafford out of the game personally. If that line struggles, especially for everybody out of position, you get some nerves, you get people, the crowd involved, you could see some false starts, some missed assignments, especially when Stafford goes to the line and checks. If you can't hear all the assignments or hear the assignments, you could lead to some real opportunities for Stafford to get slammed. So, and I don't want to see anybody get hurt. I want to be on record of that. It's not like I hate the guy or anything, but hey, part of your job as a defense is to hit him. And if he gets hit too much, if I'm Sean McVay, I've got to make a choice. Do I want to keep seeing that happen in week one in a non-divisional game? Now, only he can decide that, I guess. All right, JDC, getting real in the D, 100%. Go Lions. Let's see, Bo, there isn't a lot of guys that played with Stafford left on the team. Yeah, there's, maybe like 3 or 4 of them. And I won't go through a list, but, there's not many left at this point. Jesse Green, salutations all. I think the home crowd will be too much for the Rams again this time around, even more with them struggling a bit on their O-line. Yeah, I'd say that's probably a bad matchup for them. See, Phil, good morning. Back at you, Philly. Nice new guitar in the photo. See, John, does anybody know who the backup quarterback is for the Rams? That I don't. I know it was Garoppolo, but I think he's out like for a month with a suspension, something like that, but don't hold me to that. Phil, just ask Stafford's wife. She might know him very well. There's some potential there for sure. She does have an affinity for backup quarterbacks, it appears. Darcy, good morning. Laughing out loud, Phil. There you go. John, is he any good? That I don't know. I don't know who it is right now. Phil Darcy, there you go, waving. See, Michael D, Stenson Bennett. I know the name, but I don't know much about him. See, Bo, Jimmy G, there you go. Hatman, good morning, Duke Crew. Back at you, Hatman. Hopefully it's an outstanding day. Phil, Batman and Morning. Okay. Hatman. Okay, Hatman is Batman. There you go. Doug. Woo! Hatman is Batman. Yes, indeed. Let's see. Michael D. Jimmy Garoppolo is serving a 2-game suspension. Okay, 2 games, not 4 games. All right. Thanks for that, Michael. Bo, who's Robin? That's a great question. Bo, Michael D. Good to know. What's next? Who's next? Excuse me. France. Good day. First test for the team. LA has 2 elite receivers. Something will be a massive test out of the gates. This will be a massive test out of the gates for the secondary and AG. Yeah, I agree. Puka Nacua, Cup, we all get it, man. They both can play. Stafford can sling it. So it's really going to come down to, can they get enough running game to keep the defense of Detroit honest? If they can't, then Detroit's defense really gets the tee off. You really get to go Blitzburg. And, the secondary gets to kind of overcut or undercut, I guess you could say, a lot of the passing routes, knowing you're going to be under pressure. You have limitations to what you can run offensively. See, Hatman, Bo Booth, that's for another day. Robin is my secret weapon. I'll go with that. Phil, hello, France. To see Michael McVay last week announced Bennett would serve as the Rams' backup quarterback during Garoppolo's suspension. Good to know, and thank you for that, guys. I did not know that. See, Dale, good morning. Duke Crew, back at you, Dale. Bo, right on, Batman. There you go. Papa Noel, I want to see how many different blitzes we put on Stafford. I think the Rams will have to run the ball a lot and often to keep Detroit from beating up Matty. Yeah, to keep them on balance. If they don't run the ball well, if they fall behind early, the more Detroit can do to that, one, you keep the crowd involved, but yes, you start making that offense more and more predictable. And yes, I think Stafford with that line, as patchwork as it may be, who knows, it could supersede expectations. It could perform great, maybe the greatest of all time. But if it doesn't, that's where I think, Stafford's in some real trouble, and those receivers. See, John, good morning, Dale. Phil, John, all right. Hatman, Doug Laporta, that's funny because when I was a kid, I always wore Batman pajamas, and the little neighbor girl I grew up with still picks on me about it. Fair enough. Hey, who doesn't like Batman, though? Phil, Papa, all right. Bo, the wall is undefeated. You gotta love the wall. Phil, the wall of greatness. I'll go with that. John, all I know is that this is going to be fun. Yes, we're all waiting for the game, man, because we're all, hey, time to talk is over. It's time to go out there and just do it. See, Quentin, greetings, salutations, y'all. Man, oh, man, here we go with games less than a week away. We win this one. Yeah, I think we will win. Yeah, you saw my prediction. Let's see what the Lions can do to support that prediction. Phil, Quentin, all right. Voltron Force, good morning. Phil, Voltron, welcome. Dave, good morning, all. Good morning to you too, Dave. Hello, Dave, says Phil. John, push the button. Yes, push that like and subscribe button if you would, please. Dave, hi. How you doing, Dave? Hatman, hey, Dan, that was a great show of your NFC North breakdown. Thanks for that, man. I enjoy stuff like that. That's part of being a coach or a scout is you have to be able to watch film or analyze things to death. I spent a little time on it, and I try to be as fair and not a homer as I could be. Try to be, but I get there's going to be people that probably come at you and say you're going to be a homer. What are you doing ranking this guy that high or whatever? Hey, I gave my official rankings or whatever, and hopefully y'all just took it as entertainment value. But thanks for that, man. See, John, yes, it was. Thanks for that. Dave, greetings all. Coach Dan, why don't you go work for a place like Woodward Sports? I used to work in TV, years and years ago, and I like it. It can be a lot of fun, especially if you have a good group of people to work with, which I've never had a bad group. It's just the tough part with some place like, say, like you suggest, Woodward Sports. They're over in Detroit. I don't live in Detroit, and I don't think Jen's really going to want us to move for that. So just want to work out. If they ever approach me about doing something remotely, I guess, maybe that would be an option. But I really just like doing this. To me, this is fun. It's not a job. It's just, me going around, hanging out with you guys, talking about Lions football. Let's see, Phil, that was a lot of research. Dan loves research. Yes, I do, man. I do, on certain topics, at least. Let's see, Dave, I think you would do well is why I'm asking. Okay, yeah, I think I would enjoy it. But, yeah, maybe if they offer me the right contract or enough Mountain Dew, then I'd have to consider it. So, Jason, Dan researches his research. Yes, I do. I put a research into the researching. See, Dale, on paper, this game against the Rams should be a walk in the park. Stafford will be bringing his, quote, A game for sure. This will be a great test for our revamped defense. I agree with you, Dale. I think, you couldn't ask for a better way to start the season to figure out what really is our strengths and our weaknesses. At the end of the day, somebody's going to be 1-0, somebody's going to be 0-1. It's not going to be the end of the year. Although I will say this, if the Lions were to lose this, I got to imagine, man, the next day in media, national media, Detroit area media, everybody might start hitting the panic button, but who knows, man. I think, you want to see how much this young defense can prove itself. This is a good test. Let's see, Michael. Yes, the coach did a great job in breaking down the North Division. Thanks, Coach, for doing that. No worries, man. I enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys did too. Brent Green, salutations, Duke Crew. Lombardi coming! Exclamation point. Oh yeah! And I still had a Macho Man. Still small. Can't wait to see the J-Mo go J-Wow on the Rams. I think there's real opportunity for that to happen. Dave, the Vikings went to Green Bay, dragging a bear to worship the Lion King. I'm down with that. And woo! And thanks for that, Dave. Good morning to you too. Jason, I believe it will be have a playoff feel to it. I agree too. The place is gonna be sold out. It's gonna be standing room only. By the way, when I'm at Ford Field, my favorite place to be is the standing room only area. I prefer it. I don't like just going up there and sitting down for several hours. But I think all that space is gonna be occupied. The place is gonna be as live as you could be. It will be a playoff feel. See, Phil, I hate to see anyone get injured, but I hope we knock the stuffing out of Stafford. I think so, too. And that's where I was saying earlier, Phil. I think McVay at some point, if this game gets away and if their Lions are really teeing off on Stafford, you got to make a long-term decision for your team and Stafford. Leave them out there to keep getting beat on or get them out of there. Let whoever the backup quarterback is take those shots because this is just the start of the season, and it's a long season. And John, just like Brand Holmes, Coach Dan never sleeps, so let's hope not, man. I enjoy doing what I do, and thanks for that, Johnny. See, Michael, hands up. All right. John, Thunderstruck, says John. Man, this nice, cool morning is making my coffee taste so much better. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is pretty nice out, man. I got the sweatshirt on, and, hey, it's a good day to be a Lions fan and hang out and talk a little Lions Talk Live. See, Coach Rock, what do you got? Good morning, all. Thinking Stafford will have revenge on his mind, and his players will want to back him up, and could be a tough game coming up. Yeah, I think they're going to come out ready to play. I mean, hey, they're all pros. They got some all pros. They're all going to want to come out. That defensive line is going to prove out that they didn't have to rely just on Aaron Donald. They can all make names for themselves. I just think there's a lot of things coming into this that favor Detroit. The trading of the linebacker, some of the injuries on the offensive line, etc. Who knows, man? We'll see what shakes out, but I've given my prediction. I think if I'm Detroit, I'm feeling pretty good about how things are setting up, but you still have to go out there and get that win. All right, see, Ezra Gray, what do you got? Good morning, Dan and crew. Happy holidays. Same to you, my friend. Let's get to grilling probably in about a couple hours. Like the Lions going to burn up the NFL all the way to the Super Bowl. I agree with you, man. They're going to make a strong march to that Super Bowl. And yes, that depth, we talked about it in yesterday's show when we ranked the NFC North. The Lions may not always have the best players at different positions, but like you're saying, man, we've got depth. We got so much depth. I think this is going to be one of the bigger reasons why we make it to the Super Bowl 59. John, smoke on the water. There you go, smoking on the water. Hey, enjoy the day out there. Let's see, Coach Rock, is that Sheila's husband walking 6 feet behind her in the video? Laughing out loud. Stay out of her way. She's on a mission for a Super Bowl. To be honest, I have no idea. I would have to look at that and try to research it. I'll see if I can get an answer for you. JDC, John Leonard, the smiling thumbs up. Robert, greetings back at you, and hopefully some salutations. Matthew, good morning, Hatman, Batman. My sister and I watched Batman religiously. We couldn't afford the pajamas, so my mother took 2 white bath towels and sewed one end into Batman's cowl, so a bat on the other end. That's pretty cool that she did that, man. That's real cool. Phil, don't think Sheila is married? Yeah, that I don't know, man. So for all you single guys out there, there you go. Get your opportunity right there. Maybe you can woo her and go up there and go, woo! And maybe get some free Lions tickets that way. Robert, a few devastating hits on Stafford should do the trick. It might, and he might get hit. Stafford meets Houston, says Phil. I think that will happen. And I think Hutchinson, although I think they're going to try to limit Hutchinson, if the Rams are going to try to limit Hutchinson as much as possible. But if they really do go Blitzburg, Detroit goes Blitzburg, you're not going to be able to stop everybody, and that ball is going to have to come out hot. Hey, man, Matthew Rice, good morning. I don't care what anyone says. Those were the days, my friend. I agree with that, man. Agree. See, John, we are going to be a knockdown, drag out type of team. I think so. I think it's just how we're built, the mentality, the players, the coaching staff, etc. Matthew, if she wasn't, then her name would still be on Ford. Okay, that's also true. Yes, also true. Or maybe she's not currently married. I have no idea. I've never really looked into her marital status. Shane, morning, back at you, Shane. Matthew, Hetman, you are so right. There we go. Motown Mitch, greetings, salutations, coach and Duke crew. Lions rule, Bears drew, woo! And there we go. And yes, I concur with you there, Mitch. Kurt Steele, the infamous one. What up, Duke crew? What up to you, man of steel? Bo, it's after midnight. We have a tank full of gas, half a pack of cigarettes, and we're wearing sunglasses. Let's hit it. There we go. Jen Savage Fit. Green salutations, fellas. Have a great show, Dan. I will try to do that, babe. And thank you for making a guest appearance here today. Let's see, Dennis. What up, though, Kurt? Good morning. John, hit it. Yes, hit the like button. Phil, Jen, good morning. Hatman, Kurt Steele, what up, though? Paper Bags fan, greetings, salutations, Duke crew. It's go time! Exclamation points. One pride, 1,000%, my friend. Hatman, good morning, Jen. JDC, hi, Jen. Kurt Steele, Dennis Tech, what up, though? Phil, loving hearts, roses, Jen. Oh, we'll take all the above. Bo, back at you, Jen. Kurt Steele, Lions. It's Lions game week, baby. 100%, my friend. 100%. It's going to be a great time to be a content creator, putting out some information on it. See, Robert Hatman, I am so glad you are a Batman and not Kimba, the White Lion. I have renewed faith in you. Fair enough. David, book them, Dano. Our Lions are about to tear up some Rams. I would agree with that. I think we are going to get into them and get after them. See, John, Felix the Cat, there we go. Now it's a throwback. Hatman, Robert Yankee, thanks, me too. John, because we have a bag of tricks. We do have some tricks, and everybody's always after me Lucky Charms. Phil, stoked, not scared. NFL should be worried about the Lions. I agree, and I think the Lions are going to put a little fear into everybody. See, Bo, we're on a mission from? Yes, we are on a mission from God. This is true. Phil, how many decibels can a stadium withstand before it crumbles? Ford Field may not survive. That I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot of times that get into the 115, maybe even 120 area. Let's see, Anthony. Hey, good morning, Anthony. Good to see you, my friend. Good morning, Duke crew. Another busy week. Hey, you never rest, my friend. Go out there and get some time for you, though, too. You make sure you get ready for the game. Let's see, Trump's God Bless America and Hell's Angels outlawed heading to Aurora, Colorado. Yeah, I heard something about that, but I don't really know what it's about. So something's going on, I guess. Let's see, Dennis, amen. I'll go with that. Al Jr., what do you got? Greens, salutations from Las Vegas. One pride, Las Vegas Flintstones. Hey, well, we have a good morning. Always a great time out in Las Vegas, man. I know I'm trying to talk Jen into going out there maybe next year. So hopefully maybe we can have a Duke crew get together out there or something. Who knows, man? But have a great morning, my friend. I'd say Wayne going to opener, traveling from East Rhode Island. Ooh, that's I guess maybe a little bit of a hike. The team is special like 84 Tigers or the Bad Boys Pistons. Bring home the long away to Lombardi. Yeah, man. Can you imagine when Detroit wins it this year, what that celebration is going to be like? It might be a week-long event in Detroit. See, Miles Market, morning all. Back at you. Robert, Sunday night is perfect for our first game. I think so, too, man. You can get everything done during the day. Maybe watch some of the other games and get pumped and ready for Sunday night football. JDC, Dre Forge rocks. Let's hope we don't hope we don't need him for this game, but hopefully Goff is good enough. But Dre Forge does rock. All right, Phil Stafford is jaded enough to think he's responsible for the Lions' success. There might be a level of truth. I mean, if he didn't request the trade, how different would this team be? But that's a show for another time, man. The thing's been beaten up over the years. Derek, good morning, coach and crew. Do you think there is any validity to Risden's article about the safety position? I mean, I think you're splitting hairs. I know when I did my review, I'll put it this way, Derek. When I did my review of all the NFC North teams and put rankings on them, I did talk about Kirby Joseph. I think Kirby Joseph is great. I won't say elite. He's great, though, at what he does, and what he does well is play single high safety, his zone read across the board. The one weakness I do think he has is he's limited to mostly zone coverage. He's just not great in man-to-man. He's way better than Tracy Walker was, Tracy Walker, I didn't think he was good in zone coverage. I don't think he's good in man-to-man coverage. He would have been better off, in my opinion, probably putting on 15 pounds and becoming a Sam linebacker. I just don't know if he has the body structure for it. Kirby Joseph is limited. Iffy Melifano, I think, is actually pretty dang decent, especially for a team that wants to run man-to-man across the board. I don't know enough about Iffy's zone coverage abilities because, to be fair, the Lions, when Iffy started playing last year, didn't play a ton of zone. Some, yes, but not a ton. They mostly were man. So one of them is going to emerge. I know which way I would go with it, but Aaron Glenn has his own, I'm sure, thoughts on it. I don't think there's a lot of validity to saying that it's a problem area for the team because, one of your guys, and that's Brian Branch, he's elite. Now, Brandon Joseph, Lauren Strickland, I think Joseph, I did a video once I watched him in OTAs, and I was like, man, this cat's got some abilities. He has some playmaker in him. So does Strickland. So there's some probably unproven guys on this team, but I think there are some guys that, given the opportunity, will make plays. That was probably a little too long for you guys, but hey, at least you know my thoughts on it. Bo Drake Forge, rocks and rules. I'll go with that. Derek, give us a Sheila. Woo! And let's make that happen. You know what? Hey, you can never have enough Sheila. And now I'm looking at that guy behind her going, man, is that her husband? I don't know. Let's see. Anthony, Rams gave up on a young quarterback, and Goff was willing to develop him. They wanted to win now, hence the trade. Yeah, and I'd say that's fair. They got what they wanted out of it. I said when the trade happened, I thought this was a great move for Detroit. I thought both the quarterbacks are about the same. Stafford obviously had a lot more experience, but as far as a productive, stat line, I think they're about the same. Let's see, James. Woo! Good morning to you too, my friend. Hopefully an outstanding day. See, Anthony wasn't. You're correct. Dale, Stafford's record against teams with over a 500 winning percentage is not good at all. Yeah, and some of that you can blame on the Lions. Some of you, hey, at some point, you're the only common denominator between the first year you played that year and the last year you played with Detroit, the 12th year. So at some point, you are somewhat responsible for that as well. See, Phil, I'm not too worried about our defensive backfield. They've been against the best receivers in camp. Yeah, they played some real good receivers so far. So hopefully they go out there. To me, I think it's just going to take maybe a half or so to get some of the communication down. It'll be a week-on-week basis. I'm sure they're going to do nothing but go upside, but let's see what they can go out there and do. Ezra Gray, if Stafford had this team, we'd be going to the Super Bowl also. The problem was we didn't have this team without the Stafford trade. I think you're spot on with that, man. This team would be very different if that trade doesn't go down. Both development is key. We don't quit on our guys. Makes them all play harder. Yeah, I think you're spot on. I think everybody enjoys being here in Detroit. And you heard Brad Holmes talk about it. You've heard other media talk about it. Since the 53-man cut down, how many people wanted to come here and be a Detroit Lion? Heck, man, look at the practice squad. Most of these jokers could have gone somewhere else. They chose to stay here in Detroit or come here to Detroit. And that tells you what veteran players see with this team. They see an opportunity to go get a ring. So good for them, man. I hope we do it this year. Trump Stafford is a broken has-been. His body's been through it. Some of it here in Detroit, some of it in LA. Yeah, I do wonder if this could be his last year. JDC, the constant sunshine fried Stafford's brain. It could be. Let's see, Anthony, Rams O-line has serious issues. It does. And I think if I'm Detroit, I'm doing everything I can to expose that early and often and repeatedly throughout the game. Phil, we have thunder and lightning on both sides of the ball. I concur. See, Michael, let's see, Lions go undefeated this season, question mark. Oh, yeah. Woo! And I am, if we go undefeated, I'm not going to complain. I know my record prediction. And like I said, when Dan O'Damas does his prediction video either today or tomorrow, you'll get that full story. Phil, Vaki will play both ways. I don't think so. I think he'll play special teams. I think he'll play offense. Maybe they could use him in emergency situations as a safety or a weak side backer, but I have no knowledge of that if they are planning on it. See, Trump, a couple of sacks and he's in the tent. There we go. Yeah, that could be. They could hit him hard and put him on the ground. I think we all know, or at least suspect, in that playoff game months ago, he may have been concussed and he may have talked his way out of being removed from that game, because if that had been a regular season game, I think he probably should have been pulled, because if you watch him staring when he gets up, he looks confused. He looks dazed. Obviously, he passed whoever, evaluated him, but I will go down saying I think he was concussed that game. Kurt Steele, what are you guys doing for Labor Day? I'm kicking back, relaxing, waiting for Jen to tell me what we're going to do. I'm guessing she may have plans that I am not aware of. Let's see. Phil Laporta will potty all over the Rams linebackers. I think he's probably going to be a bad matchup for them. See, Anthony, good morning, Mr. Steele. I'll go with that. And Trump, armed Venezuela gangs taking over. Yeah, I heard something about it, but I just don't know anything about it. All right, what up, though, Kurt Steele? Anthony, I am relaxing, got my stuff done at home. There you go. Hey, have a nice day at home, man. Anthony, you have a show today, Kurt? I believe he does, but maybe I'm wrong. See, John, yes, we do, Phil. Anthony, show laughing out loud. Phil, will Davenport dominate? I don't know if he'll dominate, but I'm hoping he'll supersede my rating I gave him because I like the guy, but, like I talked about in yesterday's show, I couldn't give him a very high grade just because he really hasn't played much in 2 years. We'll see what shakes out with him. All right, JDC Kurt, I'll smoke the grass, cut the grass, and sit the butt. Let's see, Dave, 41-21. I'll take that score for us. Phil, let's see how Jack Campbell does. I think he's going to have a pretty good year. But again, but he's got to go out there and prove it. So that's why I didn't rank him higher yesterday. The Trim Reaper, good morning, Coach and Duke Crew! Exclamation points. Are you ready for some football? Question mark, exclamation point, question marks. Let's go, Lions. Woo! And I know I am ready. See, Derek, will Wingo get a sack or two? Man, who knows? That'd be great if he did. A great start to his year. Let's see, Alfredo would have isn't pick on the practice squad? Yes, but we're going to find out who they're going to elevate. I think there's a potential he could get elevated, but I could also say that for Tim Patrick. Maybe there's somebody else as well. See, Phil Barnes is going to have a year. I think so. He finished last year trending upwards. I think he will have to go out there and do a little bit more. They've got some real nice linebackers. I don't think we have elite, but you know what? How you prove if you are elite, go out there and do it on the field. John, yes, Derek. Trump, who are they protecting on the practice squad? That we won't know until Friday, or maybe they will announce who they're protecting this week. But usually that designation doesn't get revealed, at least to the media, until later in the week. Let's see, Dennis, how will Houston do? I think he's going to do pretty well. I think they're going to utilize him. It'll be nice to have him out there, especially in the blitzing packages, because you know what he can do? Cover ground. See, Phil Branch has been hurt for a couple years. His injury is repaired, and he's going to be even better. Yeah, him and Taylor Decker, I think you should see noticeable more improvement. See, Manberg, whole lot to the Duke Crew. Same to you. Hopefully having a great one, Bear. Phil, Lions must figure out the slow starts. We must play 4 quarters, no letdowns. Yeah, hopefully they adjust that from last year. Robert Kurt Steele, I enjoy watching Jim and you in the early days. He is missed. Yeah, sorry to see him go that he has passed. Phil, Jim is missed. Bo, no third quarter blues. I'm down with that. Dominic, good morning from Texas. Good morning to you too. Dave, Vaki saves third quarter. That might just be. All right, JDC Magic 8 Ball says 6 days, 13 hours, 58 minutes to go. Let's go with that. And yes, count it down. John, I hope so, Bo. There we go. Anthony, I sure hope they address the third quarter blues. Bo, I'm hoping that was a point of contention this offseason. Phil, what Dan tried, JMO kick returns. Returning kicks, I should say, I don't think so, but maybe we're caught off guard with that. And that would be, he's obviously got the speed that if you don't get to him quick, he could cover some ground. I just think they're going to protect him. See, Dennis says yes. Hetman, come on, Duke Crew, hit that like button for Dan for all that Dan does for us. Woo! Yeah, I can't see the likes on my screen. I can tell you there's almost 500 people watching live. That's about all I can tell you. Silver, good morning, Coach, and everyone. Just want to say I appreciate you inviting guests like Steele. I also liked the appearance of the Spirit of Detroit. Always interesting. Yeah, I'm trying to get everybody on the show, trying to get more and more people. I've reached out to a ton of different content creators. Hell, man, I've reached out. Micro Mike comes on when he can. Hell, man, I've reached out to. I know some of you guys watch Will Rock. I've reached out to him. Have not heard back. Was it Derek? The Lion Syndicate. I've reached out to him. I've reached out to everybody I could think of, even some guys that only have like 500 or 700 subscribers, but you watch their videos, I like what I see out of them. So the problem is a lot of people just don't respond, or they say that the time frame doesn't work for them. But I'm going to continue to reach out to more and more people. So if they want to come on, I'll have them on. Phil, our special teams were pretty bad in preseason. Will the Lions figure that out? Let's hope so. Otherwise, nothing can wreck a game faster than bad special teams. Well, turnovers, I guess. Silver Server, wait for the regular season. Give a grade. They are learning. They are learning 100%. JDC, Detroit Lions, rebuilding since 1957. Stay tuned to Coach Dan and Lions Talk Live for more updates. Go Lions. Thanks for that, JDC. And yes, we'll try to keep you all updated. Chris Steele, oh, Sheila, by Ready for the World 80s R&B band from Flint. There you go. There you go. Yeah, I might have to cue that up and add that to the buttons. Let's see, Detroit Zoo, Polar Bear. Woo! And we'll go with that. Good morning to you, too. Haven't seen you in a minute, man. It has been a while. Good to see you, my friend. See, Anthony, these teams are way different this year as opposite to last year. I agree. See, Dennis, 44-0. Lions Stafford knocked out of the game in the first quarter. Now, if Stafford goes down, the Rams are in a world of hurt, in my opinion. Maybe Stenson Bennett can save the day, but yeah, Stafford goes out. This thing could become a bloodbath, maybe 44-0. Mike the Marine Gunny, howdy, Dan Ducru. Welcome to Woosville. And hey, back at you, Gunny. Hope it's been a good day. Silver Server, love that Dan Skipper. W word. He is the only one I like to hear. Fair enough. Yeah, and he does a real unique job with it. Secret Steel, Graham, JRM, Frank, and Decker are the only guys left. Jalen Reeves, Maven. Yeah. There's not a whole lot of them left. See, Phil, hoorah. There you go. Bo, thanks, Kurt. That's not very many times really have changed. Yeah, the vast majority of this team are drafted players from this regime. Unlike the past, where a lot of the drafted guys just didn't pan out, it's quite the opposite with Brad Holmes. The vast majority of drafted guys do pan out, let alone the undrafted free agents they bring in, or undrafted free agents that they develop and sign, like the Joseph, Strickland, etc. All right, Anthony, we have Sutton and Vildor starting. Not this time. Yeah, not this time. No fly zone. Yeah, I want to see this secondary. I want to see everything AG does. I think we're all waiting and salivating at the idea of this defense rising to basically being the same breadth or level as the offense. See, JDC, go Lions, go Tigers. I'm down with that. How are the Tigers still doing? I know they were winning. I just haven't kept up on them in the last week. John, go Blue. Kurt Steele, Bo Booth, Graham, and Jalen Reeves Maven left and came back, which hasn't happened to Detroit until MCDC. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, he's made it a destination. Anthony, just thinking about this season and the that's rare at my age. Well, hey, enjoy it while you got it, my friend. Hutch Jr., good morning, fellas, folks, and happy Labor Day. 6 more days until we have football at Ford Field. 100%. I know you'll be there. Maybe some eyes on the sidelines for us. See, JDC, Anthony Kahneman, too much information, but good for you. 100%. John, laughing out loud. Tot, all right. Let's see, Anthony, laughing out loud. Sorry, JDC, just super excited. Now, that is super excited indeed, my friend. JDC, thunderstruck, he might be. Bo Booth, that's a screaming eagle of Mr. Cunningham. There you go, screaming right away. Anthony, then I got a scream eagle going into this season. There you go. Woo! There you go. Hey, I'm just going to say, hey. All right, Phil. Thanks for the 7 days per week show, Dan. Hey, no worries, man. I enjoy it. Hopefully you guys do too. Bo, 101 away, Anthony. There you go. Let's see. JDC, spine, thumbs up with the eagle. At least Bo Booth says Anthony. Perryman, good morning, Duke crew! Exclamation points. The chants of Jared Goff are going to shake the foundation at Ford Field. Yeah, I agree with that. And there was an article, I think it came out yesterday. I don't remember who wrote it. Somebody, one of the LA journalists, wrote did a deep dive about talking with Jared Goff, how the trade has changed him, made him grow up, made him a better quarterback. I thought about doing a story on it, but at the same time, we've all been inundated with it so much. I was like, man, I think we all get it at this point. But hey, kudos to Jared Goff, his family, and for the Lions to taking the gamble. One thing I always say to people is, remember, Brad Holmes was a part of the regime that traded up from whatever it was, 12 to number 1 to get Jared Goff. When he saw the opportunity to trade Stafford to get a 6-year younger quarterback with less of an injury history and all the draft capital for a team franchise trying to revitalize, rebuild, he clearly believed in what Jared Goff can be. And that gamble's paid off. Another big win for Brad Holmes. Anthony Stafford is a diehard. He's pretty tough. He is tough, and nobody should ever question that with him. He's going to give it all he has. The only thing I would say is if I'm Sean McVay and he's getting beat on, taking a lot of hits, this isn't a playoff game, You've got to think about the next, 16 games of the regular season and the playoffs. If Stafford really is getting hit because this offensive line isn't solid, whatever the case may be, you've got to make a business decision and say, it's okay to lose one game. It's not okay to lose the next 16 games because our star quarterback is out. See, Kurt Sheila has definitely married. Laughing out loud. Last name is Hamp, not Ford. This is true. JDC getting real in the D. Go Lions. Mark, the score of the nice letters of the Lions, and now they can't make it to the Super Bowl after New Orleans Saints going to win the Super Bowl in 2010. The Lions going to win it now. Yes, I believe they will, Mark. They will win it now. And I was going to try to put a pop-up on this, but did you guys realize the correlation between Mike Ditka and Dan Campbell? I was not aware of it. Yes, they both played tight end. Yes, they both played, I guess, X amount of years in the league. They took over a downtrodden franchise, at least at that time for the Bears. And in their third year, they both lost to the 49ers in the NFC title game. The Bears, the fourth year with Ditka, won the Super Bowl. Could the trend continue where MCDC wins the Super Bowl in his fourth year? Stay tuned for those details. But I was not aware the amount of correlations between the two gentlemen, both as players and coaches. I'd see Michael D. Ford Hamp is married to Steve Hamp and lives with her husband and 3 children in Ann Arbor. Okay, there you go. Now we know. Rocky, Coach Rock, I should say, believes she is married to Steve Hamp, and that looks like him behind her. Could be. I have no idea what the gentleman looks like. Man Bear, Sheila is married to Steve Hamp. Okay, there we go. John, I am a creeper and a weirdo. Hey, it happens, man. Let's see, Bo, Radiohead in the morning. That's a good group for me. Let's see, Anthony, you can bet we'll win the Super Bowl. Party is going to last a month indeed. Yeah, when we win it, the party probably is going to last a long time. Let's see, Thomas, hey, fellas, let's not lose our pop here if we don't win the Super Bowl. Let's not get too clown if we can't continue to get better. That's great, but I can see people jumping off cliffs if we don't win it all. There'll be some people like that for sure. Everybody just, don't overreact if something doesn't go our way. JDC, Budge for the kill. There you go. We're going for the kill. Al, anytime, my brother, Mountain Dew's on me. I'm down with that, my friend. I will be out there. And yes, I'm pretty sure you get a lot of free Mountain Dews at half the casinos. But hey, you want to hand it to me, man? I'll have one with you and I'll hand you one back. Thomas, the Rams are going to be a good test, but they should not come close to beating us this Sunday night. Hey, you heard my score prediction. Let's see what shakes out. Johnny, what do you got? Good morning, Dan. ! Go Lions. Cannot wait for this matchup. Me neither, man. I am ready for the season to get going. I'm going to guess most of us are sitting around counting down the days and the hours. Johnny, biggest matchup, in your opinion, is the secondary versus Stafford of the Rams' weapons. Great test in week 1. I agree with you 100% on that. I think it's going to come down a lot of the game to that. See, Robert, here's Johnny. There you go. Al, what do you got? We actually have a local bar here in Vegas where all the Lions fans go to watch the Lions games. Crow Bar Lounge. It's like Ford Field in Vegas. I'll have to write that down, man. When we get out there, if we can get out there during the season, I'm going to have to go check that out. I will let you guys know. Thomas, as far as the trade with Stafford and Goff, the Rams won until we get the Super Bowl. Fair enough. I'll go with that. I'm not wrong with that opinion. Bo, good morning, Johnny. Phil, with the increase in revenue, will the Lions build a new headquarters in the city? That I don't know, man. That I don't know. But yes, they're going to be a lot more profitable this year than they have been probably in the last decade. See, Dennis, you from River Rounds. There you go. Robert, I agree 1,000%, Johnny. Johnny, good morning, Robert and Bo. Phil, Stafford always smashing his hands on helmets. This is true. And a lot of it's just because of his release point, but is what it is. John, blue and on black. There you go. Phil, Trump, this is a Lions show, please. Yeah, let's keep it about the Lions. See, Mark, if the New Orleans Saints in 2010 can win the Super Bowl, so can the Lions, who's a major effect. I think the Lions are now like the 2010 New Orleans Saints, and this is for all the naysayers. Yeah, I think there's probably more than a few correlations. See, Kurt, yes, I miss Jim every day. Sounds like he was a good dude. I didn't know him personally. I remember watching some of your guys' shows back in the day. Thomas, what's the deal with people ignoring the second best tackler on the team last year? I don't think anybody's ignoring him. It's just, he's got to go out there and prove what level can he raise his game to this year. See, David, Lions are Super Bowl bound. I concur. Thomas, Jack Campbell. Yes, I like Captain Jack. Dale, don't forget, no more Aaron Donald commanding a double team on the Rams defense. I agree with that. I think that will be a major change for the game and a big change for the Lions schemes schematically up front with the front guys, with the offensive line. 9 Drinks, good morning, Duke Crew. Back at you. Matthew, third quarter, Monty, Gibbs, and Vaki, if necessary, repeat. Yeah, just get points on the board. That's what I want. Phil, we need more Sarge. I tried to get him on the show yesterday, but him and the wife are kind of out and about having a little fun this weekend with the holiday weekend, so it just didn't work out. So try to get him on when I can. All right, Robert, Rock and Derek don't like you, Dan. They stink. Hey, it happens, man. I mean, not everybody likes everybody. I reach out to them all the same. I think they would probably do well in an interview, but to each their own. Super Trust Fall. The yellow of the thumbnail kills me. Sorry about that, man. But hey, it is what it is, man. Let's see, Mark. This is for the Detroit Lions fans. Every time the Lions make a field goal, the Lions fans should scream, woo, woo, very loud for field goal Lions. I'm down with that, man. I'm down with that. JDC, the Lions, Wall will make Stafford so black and blue, his wife will be able to touch him for a week. There you go. Hey, she might appreciate that. Thomas, hit that like button, y'all. Yes, pretty please, por favor, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Phil, hopefully Stafford leaves the kids at home. I agree. Either that or keep them up in a booth or something, one of the suites at Ford Field. Don't bring him on the field, man. Let's see, Dale, any chance DJ Reader plays? I think there is a chance. But if he plays, I'm anticipating kind of like a pitch count, a snap count for him. JDC, Phil, his kids better get used to the word lose. There we go. Dennis, Dan is the heart and soul of Lions content. Thanks for that, man. Thank you very much for that. Very much. See, 9 Drinks, do you go get an adult do yet? You know what? Maybe I'm going to do that for next weekend's game. Maybe I'll go out with John today and see if we can get one too. But I have not tried one yet. I probably need to do that. Yeah, now. I'd see Bo. Happy trails to y'all. All done dusted. See y'all tomorrow. We'll see you then. Kurt Steele heading over to the Boss Up Ball Up channel. See you guys there. Yes, see you guys all over on Kurt Steele's channel. JDC, happy trails. Go Lions. Brett, happy trails. One Prime. Buddy, great show. Thanks for that, buddy. Good to see you, man. I haven't seen you in a couple days, so hopefully you're having a great one. Matthew, love Lions football. There we go. Coach Rock, this Rock likes your show, Dan. Woo! Hey, thanks for that very much. Scott, Lions 42, Rams 17. Going to make a statement early. Let's go. I'll take that. All right. If there's some sort of breaking news today, I'll get it over to you guys as quick as possible. Otherwise, when you're checking out, if you can, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Take care. Do something nice for somebody you don't know. Have a great holiday, and we'll see you all in the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, everybody.
Happy trails to you until we meet again.